Get inspired by seeing fellow heroes apply AHK in everyday wins. The shared stories alone make membership a no-brainer. Score 3 hours of weekly Zoom magic, 2 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, with live lessons, pro tips, and one-on-one fixes to supercharge your skills.
It's because we have ChatGPT, Crunchbase, Claude, and all the other. So I feel like that's a very big tool. I would only open it when I need it, use it for the time that I'm going to need it, and then I close it as But I think this is completely subjective. It's however you feel. Like some people like to have like a central hub that is always running for very common things that you do throughout the day. So you don't have to be launching that every single time. I guess that would be the answer to the question is, how often do you use it, right? How often do you open, for example, in my case, I open Toolkit very often. Not even for the hero calls, right? Also, during my day, there's some things that I need to write down, and I don't want to open Notepad. I don't want to, and actually, I have a better tabbing experience and so on. So I don't want to open VS Code. So I open this little editor all the time. Why would I have to launch it every time I try to open it, right? That's the way how I would think about it. It is always running if I use it very often, right? And for most of us, everybody, I've noticed everybody go through this particular path. When you start with AutoHotkey, you do 1, 2 hotkeys, and then you reach a point in which you have to manage all your hotkeys. Everybody has built this one script that has all their hotkeys in them, right? One way or another. Somebody uses menus, some others use, as you, Joe, just a script that has all the hotkeys there. You don't have a visual way to manage it. You just open the script and modify it. AutoHotkey Toolkit was exactly that concept. I just created my own hotkey manager. Ray has been working on his, right? And the hotstring and hotstring manager for him, right? So everybody I've seen go through that particular part with AutoHotkey, through that particular phase. And that is a script that I think you will keep running all the time on your background, right? So I would definitely say, well, I'm doing OCR very often. Well, then I will have an OCR script running on the background quite lightly.
I think there's more like our initial voice recorder, where we were using FFmpeg, right? That was one also. It took time to start, right? And and some things that are resource intensive, you might want to have running more automatically instead of having it have to kick something off and you wait a couple seconds. But back to my point too of like, well, if that was a really big program, maybe you don't want to do that, right? Maybe you sacrifice having a delay so you don't lose what's FFmpeg, 100 megs easily?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That's part of the thought process as well, right? Of how much RAM do I have? What's going on? Do I have conflicting things that might be in that file? Do I have other hotkeys in that script that when it's run, now they actually conflict with something else? So I don't want those running all the time. But when I switch to go do a given task, now I'm focused on that task. And so that's why it doesn't bother me, because those hotkeys are only when I'm doing this task, and it's okay that they conflict with, let's say, Excel, right? Because I'm focused on doing this, right? And when I'm done with doing this, I exit out of it, and now I don't have to worry about I have the same hotkey in Excel as I do versus this thing I'm doing. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
that's the one that I have used as often. I do have some sensitive hotkeys, right? Like the ones for, hot strings is what I have basically that are for the forums. So in the forums, I don't like typing the BB code. So I just type 1 and I want it to close, right? So that's the one that I have used for that. But I don't know why I don't have this of adding this context sensitivity to hotkeys as often, which I should, because I know how cool it is to have the same hotkey do different things, right? Nick is actually saying probably something similar, saying no, I have included hotkeys only in specialized scripts, but not one script with all the hotkeys. I guess you haven't had the need for a launcher is basically what we're talking about. Like having a script that launches other tools is something that I don't know how you do it, Nick, but if you start your day, isn't there like a group of programs that you open very often? Oh yeah, I have to check my emails. I have to open this page. I have to log into this other tool. Usually people have a script that has all their day-to-day things
Well,
already there.
yeah. And let me open mine again just to because we talked about that last week, but we'll jump back to the top of it. Oh, it opened in my our editor. Hey, how fortunate. So and it actually opened. But up here, notice my apps key. These are the apps keys with the letters that all because it's an apps key, right? So it's the apps key to me means I'm going to launch a program, right? That's why I think about the apps key. Not that you have to do that, right? But that's what I use it for is a key combo with it. But these are all tools I might want to have. Neek, they're totally independent. A lot of them aren't even AutoHotkey scripts. A lot of them are, but it's probably 50-50 in the long run when you look at all of them. But yeah, so I have hotkeys that just launch different tools. And to Isaiah's point, I could bring this in Prompt Assistant and have a GUI to help me make it easier. But I wrote this 15 years ago. I mean, I've been building on it forever, so I just kind of leave it because it's only me, so I don't mind.
Right.
And I have
And
full
actually,
control, remember, of which version of AutoHotkey I'm using to launch.
that's a very key feature that I don't think we have in AutoHotkey in Prompt Assistant yet. But the one point here is I am doing basically that. Some of the hotkeys that I had in AutoHotkey Toolkit, I'm passing it to Prompt Assistant, right? Because it is a little bit visual and it is a little bit easier to think about it. And many times I just forget the hotkey, and having a visual menu to just jump to it, right? Or remind me is great, but it's not needed, as you just said.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Nick, he says he does have one script that can open other screens. Yeah, and that's what just Isaiah is referring to. It's you think of it as a launcher. Of course, mine has over 2,000 lines. I do a lot of other stuff in it too, just things that I do often, right? But it gets back to each of these. I could have these things in their own script with a hotkey, which would be kind of crazy, right? And also I talked about this years ago, like the window snipping tool, and there was another one, the paste plain text. Initially, those were both in my main AutoHotkey script, right? And what happened was I would show it to people and they're like, "Oh, I really love a copy of that." And so I finally realized, well, wait a minute, I don't want the scripts in my main script because sharing it is a nightmare, right? So I broke them out of my main script and put them on their own, and it made it easier for me to now, and I just put the hotkeys in there to trigger it, right? But it allowed me to easily share it now with other people because it's modular, if that makes sense.
That is a very good point about modularity. So programmers, we often think modularity is a good thing, but there are certain circumstances in which you do want what we call a monolith. It's just like one script that does a lot of things, or, fix a lot of problems in one place. But again, sharing or modifying that script, then you have to be careful, because if you modify one thing that is used by other parts of your script, then it's going to break the whole thing. So this balance between modularity and being a monolith is very important.
Yep. Yeah. And back to the also what I was mentioning earlier with conflicting hotkeys. With AutoHotkey, obviously you can't have conflicting hotkeys within your one script, but you can have, let's say we have control N in my main script, and I launch a script that has a control N. That's perfectly fine, right? It will run, right? It may confuse you at first, but again, back to my example where I'm doing something and then I switch to this other task. when you kick off that other script, the new script with the control N takes
Yes.
precedent over the
Yes.
old one. So I'm focused now. I use that same hotkey that normally would be something else to do what I want, and then I exit out, and I don't even have a context sensitive stuff, right? I'm just using kind of
Yeah.
the order of how I'm working to
Right.
prioritize it, and then I do have to make sure I exit out of it, otherwise I get mad that like, why is my hotkey not working? It is. It's just doing something that little task thing I forgot to close out of.
Right. And in the comments, Nick is saying, yes, I have one script by which I open other scripts. Yeah, that's the one that I'm talking about. Everybody goes through that. Like everybody has like uh, one hub, I would say. And it is very cool. There's so many things. I think everybody who is working with AutoHotkey, I think it is a great idea to have one hub script, I would call it, like your
Yeah.
hub, right? That does the launching of other scripts or the sensitivity of certain actions. And right now I'm thinking of a few interesting things like my hub script, which at the moment is AutoHotkey script, AutoHotkey toolkit. I would like it to do certain editing commands that I do very often in VS Code that you cannot do in any other place. Like whenever you have selected text and you hit the parentheses, it puts the parentheses around the selected keys. In every other editor, if you have something selected and you open a bracket, it deletes what you have selected, right? So I want to keep that.
Not Studio. And not
Yeah.
our tool. Or did you fix that yet, Irfan? I know when you open the bracket, it closes it automatically in our tool. But
That's what I, yeah. But selected text is very interesting of, hey, there's a lot of little things like that. Uppercasing the selection, lowercasing the selection, making it title case. That's another thing that I would love to have all the time. It's not just in VS Code, not just here or that, right?
So hold on, Isaias, because you weren't on the call, but we had a call with Michael this week, and he was the insurance inspector. Remember that went to the hurricanes and stuff, and
Yes.
he was talking. He's like, hey, I would like this. Sometimes he has 8 million hot strings, right? He has a lot of hot strings. They're very short, but he's like, sometimes I want this text uppercase and lower, and he wanted to have a hot string, and I said, hey, you know what I would do? Because it's going to get really hard to remember all that stuff. What I would do is still use your normal hot string, but we'll give you a hot key because you're going to do it a lot, right? To select text and hit a hot key to title case, uppercase, or lowercase, right?
Right. And
Because
it is very simple. Yes.
yeah, and it was just a good. It's almost like a function call. Like, oh, I want to. I don't always
Yes.
use this. I guess we could have it if we cared to. We could build him his own hot string, like I have in my hot string class that I shared with Ray
Yes.
ago, where hey, if the shift key is down, it will title case, right? If the shift, so we could have
Right.
something to be smart about it to
Yes.
know I want uppercase or title case or lowercase, right? But that would be, I don't know about you, as I said, that to me, doing that with the normal hot string and AutoHotkey, like that might be a bit with just a trigger, it might be
So, well, and that's the thing. I think it is so, well, sorry, depending on what you mean by that, right? There is something that the main idea is extremely simple. It's so simple that I can show it even right now. It's not that hard.
I'm referring to just you could have hey, when I type my hot string, but I have the print screen down, now I know it's title case. You know what I mean?
Actually,
Hot
there is an option in hot strings to do that. You can make them case sensitive. So if you
no, but that's not what I'm talking about. Anyway,
okay.
it's fine. You can
Right.
I'm just saying this way you don't have to change everything. You would just have, hey, is the print screen down? I have the same trigger every time, right?
Yes.
Changing that because
Oh, so you're maybe you would need a state key like the num lock or the
right,
caps lock, right?
yeah, right.
Right. Right. So in any case, one of the things, so maybe I can show this. So going back to what I was saying about hard, so let's say that I like, and I do this on VS Code, control.
Get insider savings, 25% off courses, scripts, and done-for-you AHK jobs, making premium tools affordable and accessible.
tap into over 466 plus hours of AHK video gold, including fresh clips like this, for anytime learning that fits your schedule.